Welcome back to BYTE. Here's a million-dollar question. Who hasn't used Photoshop? Just raise your hands. I doubt any would go up for that because this is one software which is just universal. It's got an amazing appeal and charm which many of us would never ever trade for anything. Well, the software just recently got out of its teens and stepped into its big 2-0. That's right, it celebrated its 20th birthday recently. A small tribute to this amazing software and a look at the team that created it. Happy 20th birthday Adobe Photoshop. World over, Photoshop fans just celebrated the impact their favorite software has had across photography, art, design, publishing and e-commerce. In the United States, the National Association of Photoshop Professionals or NAP hosted a special Photoshop 20th anniversary celebration for over 1,000 attendees in San Francisco at the Palace of the Fine Arts Theatre.
Photoshop is used by just about every kind of user, people we never even imagined, really. I mean, certainly you have professional photographers using it and professional graphic designers and everyone in the creative arts. But it stretches through to people even using it in fields like medical imaging and scientific analysis and research, engineering, and then of course there's tons of people using Photoshop at home for their personal photos, be it the professional version of Photoshop or of course the consumer versions like Photoshop Elements.
From a basic image editing software to something that has touched so many pictures with its magic touch, Photoshop has a lot to be proud of on its 20th birthday. Back in 1987, a PhD student, Thomas Knoll, developed a grayscale pixel imaging program that bloomed to process digital image files. He called it Photoshop, and Adobe licensed it. The first product hit the shelves in 1990, and Knoll thought that they might be able to sell around 500 copies of Photoshop a month.
At one point you decided that the program needed a real name, and I think you dubbed it Image Pro. Yes. And after it got a few more features, I think one of the early versions of Image Pro, this is so cool, we should sell this.
Who said that?
I think that was me.
Photoshop has been updating itself almost every year, starting with simple features like trim and layers to one of the latest versions, Photoshop CS4, which includes options like masks and adjustments.
The latest wave of innovation is really around photography. So, one of the new fields now is in research is something called computational photography. And as the name suggests, you're sort of computing your photo after the fact. And you really use your camera to capture as much information as you can, and then you use Photoshop to create something that the camera never could have captured on its own.
"20 years and taking, Photoshop looks like it's all set to take on adulthood." Here's to many more birthdays to Photoshop and its ilk. We march ahead on BYTE. On the show this week, we're talking about how money comes, money goes, but we never know how it really flows. Well, we give you an option, a software option that can help you keep track of the moolah. Enrich is an offline software developed by a Chennai-based techie, Badri Narayanan. It's a CD installation on your computer meant to help you keep track of your personal money, like income, expenses, cash withdrawals, and more. A user on a regular basis has to feed in details of expenses or transactions. Enrich asks you to choose the category of expense from a pretty elaborate list of options like books, dresses, food, medicines, and so on. You can specify the mode of transaction as well, like cash, bank or credit. Enrich also takes into account transactions that are not exactly income or expense, like a cash withdrawal from an ATM that you might want to give to a family member. A critical feature in this software is a report summary that lets a user analyze and compare savings and expenses across months. It takes a disciplined approach to use any financial software, and it's no different with Enrich. The software costs 995 rupees. And to clarify a few doubts which we might have on Enrich, we are joined by Mr. Badri Narayanan, the person who created this particular software. Mr. Badri, thank you very much for being on BYTE. Well, my first question is, why should I go in for a software like Enrich when I have other tools like Microsoft's Money or even Excel?
Okay, your question is very valid, Charitra. But what it really means to use Excel is you need to know macros. And we are targeting at people who don't even know to use computers in the first place. So expect them to create macros, use it, test it, and do it day in and day out is something out of the question.
Alright, but I can still look up my credit card statement or my bank statement. Why should I pay 1,000 rupees and go in for a CD which I anyway can't carry from one PC to another?
Okay, Chaitra, even when you look at your online statement, it gives you the details that they know, not really what you did. And what I find with credit card and bank statements are pretty incomplete and misleading, whereas your reports from Enrich are ones that you keyed in that you know better.
Right, Mr. Badri, thank you very much for being on BYTE. Remember folks, there are lots of other options as well to keep track of your financial investments, especially if you go online. The biggest advantage being you can keep track of your money anytime, any place, wherever you go, unlike system-specific software like the one we just saw. Starting this week, we're giving a lot of prizes away on BYTE. This week, we're giving away a free copy of Enrich version 2.0, the financial management software we just profiled this week on the show. The question we are asking is, write in with 3 of the things that Enrich version 2.0 lets you do with your money. Our email ID is feedback@ndtv-hindu.com, and the person to mail in with the right answer gets a free copy of this particular financial management software. So mail in quick. On the other side of this break, a game of Army of Two.